Listen, first of all, let me apologize to all the women who are triggered by this photo. Even though he is a fictional character, this man is probably the most hated man in the world right now, right? Listen, watching this series on Netflix, The Polygamist, really had me thinking about a lot of things, guys, especially in regard to how we view people. And I would say even more so, especially in the church. I'll say this, guys, in the church, we often taught that success is often a sign of God's favor. We say things like, if someone is blessed, that must mean that God's hand is on their life. Guys, I want to say emphatically that is not true, right? Two things can be true at the same time. I heard one preacher say that sometimes you can be a public success, but also be a private failure. Success does not always mean God's favor or God's approval. Listen, I know this guy, he's a fictional character, but I believe there's a lot of truth displayed in this Netflix show, The Polygamist. Why? Because I think a lot of us know someone similar to Jonas Gomorrah, right? So on one hand, Jonas is hardworking. He is successful. He's a great businessman who worked hard to basically move himself from living in poverty, becoming a multi-millionaire, right, with his business. He was a husband, a father, a well-respected businessman who had everything money could buy, right? Houses, clothes, money, cars, anything Jonas wanted financially, he could buy it, right? That was in public, but in private, guys, his life was in shambles. He was a liar. He was a cheater. He was physically abusive. He was a narcissist. He was so many other things that I can't even mention in this video. But yet so many people were drawn to him. Why? I think one of the reasons is because we see success as safety, right? This person is worth millions of dollars, so they must be safe, right? This person lives in a huge mansion, so somehow they must be safe. Oh, this person drives an expensive car, so they must be safe. Let me go deeper, guys. Oh, this pastor has a large church, so he must be safe, right? He must be a good pastor because he has a lot of members. You ever said something like that? This person has millions of followers on Instagram, so they must be safe. They have a large following, so they must know or be an expert in their field. People of God, listen, just because someone is successful does not mean that they're safe. And if we're being completely honest today, guys, some of us were hurt by someone who we thought was safe because we were blinded by their success. Listen, guys, whether we want to admit it or not, many of us are intrigued by and drawn to successful people. Often causes us to put our guards down and not to use common sense. I think one of the reasons why Jonas Gomorrah was able to take advantage of so many people is because a lot of people were blinded by his success. They thought he was safe because he was successful. But listen, guys, I want to show you, what does the Bible say about safety? All right, Psalms 4:8 says this, in peace I will both lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Proverbs 18:10 says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and they are safe. Proverbs 29:25 says, the fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. Listen, guys, the next time you're looking for safety, don't look for it solely in success, right? But look for the fruit that a person bears in their life. And also, most importantly, recognize that safety comes from resting in the presence of the Lord. In other words, that's where your peace comes from. That's where your joy comes from. And most importantly, guys, that's where your wisdom comes from. When you rest in the Lord on a continual basis, he will show you who is safe. He will show you when it's time to basically run for your life, right? Resting in the presence of the Lord, guys, on a continual basis will ensure that you will never fall for the tricks of someone like a Jonas Gomorrah, right? God bless you guys. Remember, find your peace and find your safety in the presence of the Lord.